So today we have a midweek news update. This Sunday we will continue our discussion of Epic Universe. In fact, today I'm trying to finish recording up that episode. But also this morning, Disney dropped a major piece of news. With truly significant news, I've been trying to slot in some short announcements into our podcast feed midweek. These midweek announcements aren't full episodes, simply a way to keep you up to date on significant developments as they happen. So, early this morning, Bob Iger and Josh D'Amaro announced that Disney had reached a deal with the Miral Group and the Abu Dhabi government to collectively create a Disney park in Abu Dhabi. It will be located on Yas Island, which is a 10-square-mile area that hosts a number of leisure and entertainment developments already created by the Miral Group, including Ferrari World Park, Warner Brothers World, SeaWorld, and Yas Water World. The region continues to grow, somewhat like Orlando, as a themed entertainment center. This will be Disney's 7th theme park resort location in the world, also the first to serve the Middle East and West Asia. Aside from residents of the UAE, Yas Island sees significant international travel from within the region, including, among others, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Oman, and India. Yas Island also sees significant visitation from Russia, Germany, and the UK. But beyond this, a park in Abu Dhabi can be an anchor that will help Disney expand awareness in the region of its characters, films, streamer, and other products for the 500 million people who live in the Middle East. This will be, by far, the warmest location where Disney has built a park. Yas Island has average high temperatures from May to September above 100 degrees. A typical daily high in August is 109. There was limited concept art for this presentation, but there was a typical bird's eye map of the whole park. The concept is muddy, not very clear, but very colorful, and it's nearly impossible to tell with certainty what any themed area inside the park will be. There appears to be a mountain, like a dusty rise similar to Big Thunder. Another blue swirl might be a Tron coaster, but mostly it's unreadable except for the castle, which is arranged on a lovely waterfront section of the island. Disney explained that this will be their first modern castle. Disney castles tend to speak to elements of European fairy tales, and I'm guessing that the traditions of Europe as the park's central icon might not have played very well to residents of the Middle East and India. Instead, this concept art presents an abstract rise of glass or crystal. I don't believe this is meant to be the Ice Palace in Frozen, but if in your mind you pictured the Ice Palace in Frozen, you'd have a reasonable idea as to what this loose concept art presents as the centerpiece icon for the park. Beyond the appeal of the location, the financial arrangement likely brought Disney into the deal. It will be similar to the deal that Disney has with the OLC for the 2 Disney parks in Japan. The Miral Group will pay Disney to design rides, shops, restaurants, and the hotels. Miral will pay entirely for the construction. Miral will also operate it, with a few positions occupied by key Disney staff to ensure quality. In return, Disney will receive fees and royalties, essentially a percentage of the overall revenue at the resort for the use of its IP. That is, Disney can use this partnership to develop new attractions, new rides, new technologies, billing the development over to Miral, while then likely later being able to use some of these elements over at its other parks. This is exactly how Walt filled out Disneyland in the mid-1960s. Walt built ride systems and attractions for American corporations who wished to create pavilions at the New York World's Fair. And then later, Walt either brought these attractions back to Disneyland or brought the underlying technology back to his park. The fair allowed Walt to develop complex human animatronics for the first time, such as the initial Lincoln figure, and also ride systems, one of which was later developed into the People Mover, with most of the cost picked up by those wishing to create a pavilion at the fair. Almost surely something similar will happen here with this arrangement in Abu Dhabi. Neither Disney nor Morale would specify the acreage, budget, or even a rough opening timeline, though both groups indicated that the new park, at least tentatively called Disneyland Abu Dhabi, will be comparable to other castle parks such as Disneyland or the Magic Kingdom. The presentation suggests that there will be a mix of familiar and brand new attractions, with some park elements speaking to the culture of the Middle East. There's also a promo video that accompanied the announcement, and the vast majority here of IP featured recent Disney films: Zootopia, Moana, Tron, Star Wars, Lion King, and so on. Iger said that plans for the park were still in development, with many elements not yet finalized. Specifically, he said, "We haven't decided everything that will go into it." I would expect IP for this park to feel more like the modern leanings of Shanghai Disneyland as opposed to the classic leanings of Tokyo Disneyland. "It's not just about if you build it, they will come," Iger said. "You have to build it right. And quality means not just scale, but quality and ambition. We are planning to be very ambitious with this." Disney is still hiring people to develop the park, so based on this, I would expect it to open in the early 2030s. In terms of the overall direction of the Disney company, the Abu Dhabi park, with funding now to create unique experiences and ride systems that then can support the other Disney parks, feels a lot more like an actual response to Epic Universe. In terms of the overall company, following this announcement, Disney stock was up 10%, the biggest overnight jump in years. My voice, I know, is mostly gone today, mostly due to some wild seasonal allergies out here in California, and also recording up our next full episode for later this week. But I will be back on Sunday to continue our discussion of Epic Universe. Lastly, as you know, we're an ad-free, listener-supported podcast. We do just two things: deep dives on stories related to the history of the Disney studio and the parks, and news and analysis of current events as they relate to the Disney company. We are funded entirely by listener contributions, specifically by listeners who join us over on Bandcamp as monthly subscribers. On Bandcamp, you will find over 300 episodes not available on iTunes or anywhere else. But the best reason to join us there is to support the work we do here and to make sure that this podcast continues to exist. You can support us by becoming a monthly subscriber at dhipodcast.bandcamp.com. I'll also leave a link down in our show notes. So, until next Sunday, this is Todd James Pierce.